Hi everybody, I'm Pastor Travis and I have the privilege of being the lead pastor of Life Church International along with my wife Tina. And I want to take a minute and tell you just a little bit about me. I didn't actually start off the way you might think a pastor would start off. My mom and dad, they didn't have a relationship with God or go to church. That didn't happen until I was about 11. Before that, my dad, who worked for General Motors, we were from Michigan, and he worked like most families did. He worked for GM, but he was laid off. And to find work to make ends meet, he became a bartender slash bouncer. And I would go with my dad to the bar, and it wasn't one of these, sort of fashionable hipster bars. It was a rough environment, but we didn't know anything about God or really right or wrong at the time. And so I remember watching people drink themselves into a stupor, and I watched my mom and dad go through some tough times. My mom and dad surrendered their lives to Christ when I was about 11. They were going through some marriage issues, and that's how they found Christ. And so I began to explore what it meant to have a relationship with God. But my faith was at best really shallow. I was really just sort of doing my thing and going to church with my parents on the weekend. When I was 14, my brother was killed in an accident. He served in the Navy, and I became very bitter at his death. And when he died, I remember pledging myself that if God doesn't explain to me why he took my brother's life, I would do everything I could to hurt God. I blamed God. Well, God never gave me an explanation, and so I kept my word. I began to pursue anything that I thought would hurt God. In reality, I was only hurting myself. I had an appetite for destruction, and I started getting high, and I started getting drunk and pursuing sex and pornography, and I was a thief, and anything that I thought would be perceived as rebellion against God, that's what I did. My life hit the bottom. I bottomed out. One night I was driving with some friends, and we had a bag of marijuana in the car. We had a loaded gun in the car. We got pulled over by the police. They found the drugs and they found the gun. And when they found the gun, things escalated really, really quickly. We were pulled out of the car, handcuffs put on, hands behind our back. We were pushed over the hood of the car, and I felt something cold on the back of my head. And I heard the police officer say, "If you move, I'll blow your brains out." I looked across the hood of the car and I saw my friends in the same position, and I thought, this is what I look like right now. There's a gun to the back of my head. And I thought, I don't know that this is the life that I was thinking of when I decided to live my life to hurt God. And that was the beginning of the end. My life just spiraled out of control. It hit the bottom. My needle was at zero, going backwards fast. And I had lost this young family that I had at that time. I had dropped out of high school. I lost my job. My life was a mess, and I had to move back in with my parents. And then one night, something incredible happened. I remember driving in my car by myself when suddenly I felt what I found out to be the love of God flood my car. His presence was in my car, and I'd never felt anything like that before in my life. It was so strong and real. I felt his love and I felt his grace. I said out loud, I can't do my life without God in it. And I drove home, and I pulled into my parents' driveway, and I walked into their backyard, and I looked up into the sky, and I said, God, it's me, Travis. I know I told you I wouldn't serve you, and I know I told you I would never serve you or do anything for you, but if you'll forgive me, if you'll come into my life, I will serve you with the rest of my life. And he did just that. He forgave me, and God picked me up, and he set my life on the right path. I would go on to meet the woman of my dreams, the woman that God created for me, and together we would build this amazing life with Christ in the center of it, which brings us to today. Today, I'm the pastor of a Life Church International. God took me back. I got my diploma, my high school diploma. I got my college degree, and I'm even in my master's program now. Listen, I'm telling you that God takes the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. I don't deserve to do what I get to do. I'm just here because of his love, because of his grace. And God loves you and has a plan for your life too. He wants to redeem your mistakes. He wants to rebuild the broken and burnt bridges in your life. And he'll do that for you. God bless you.